Donald Trump is actually losing his mind. Rather than attending church on Easter Sunday yesterday, he decided to make over 100 Truth Social posts, each one more unhinged than the last. But the most egregious post to come from the Trump family yesterday actually came from Donald Trump Jr., who made this Instagram post that says, "Waking up on Transgender Day of Visibility," with the racist and transphobic implication that Michelle Obama is actually a man. And I'm sorry to subject you to that, but I think it's important for us to know what we are up against. They wonder why they can't win over any black voters or any LGBTQ voters, yet MAGA keeps posting stuff like this. It is disgusting, and it only works to divide us. And this post actually enraged me, not only because I respect Michelle Obama and I hate the attacks that Republicans launch on her, but also because President Biden has worked so hard to make transgender Americans feel safe and feel welcome, not only in his administration, but in America as a whole. And MAGA doesn't care about that at all. They'd rather post memes and roll back any progress we've made rather than letting people feel comfortable as themselves. So the comment I left in response is, "This is why your dad is about to get steamrolled." And I got like 30 different responses of MAGA people just absolutely enraged at me, but it's just another case of Republicans dishing it out and not being able to take it themselves. And thankfully, the Biden campaign is really starting to heat up, so they decided to go on the offensive and call out Donald Trump for his unhinged rants. Before I get into that, make sure to leave a like and comment a blue heart so I know that you guys are enjoying these videos. But what the Biden campaign said on Twitter via their Biden-Harris HQ account is, "A feeble and confused Trump spends the Easter holiday spewing an unhinged all-caps tirade against America and talking about himself," which is classic. All Donald Trump cares about is attacking people, making up nicknames, and talking about himself. Let's read this Truth Social post. Again, I'm sorry to subject you to this, but let's skim it real fast. He said, "Happy Easter to all, including crooked and corrupt prosecutors and judges." I love when he does that. He's always like, "Merry Christmas to all, including crooked Joe Biden." It's just so unhinged. I can't even wrap my head around it. He then says, "The corrupt prosecutors and judges that are doing everything possible to interfere with the presidential election of 2024 and put me in prison." The absolute irony and projection of somebody who genuinely tried to pressure election officials in different swing states to not only find votes but use a fake slate of electors. The fact that this guy is talking about election interference should enrage everybody. He then says, "Including those many people that I completely and totally despise because they want to destroy America, a now failing nation, like deranged Jack Smith, who is evil and sick." Why does he put sick in quotes? Mrs. Fani Willis, who said that she hardly knew the special prosecutor, only to find out that he spent years loving her. Why loving in quotes? Long before the Georgia persecution of President Trump began. Why is he talking about himself in third person? I'm not even going to read the rest, but as the Biden campaign pointed out, I don't know why he always does this in all caps. It only makes him seem more and more unhinged. This really makes you appreciate the Biden team and their comms. They run a very tight ship, and you'd never see Biden tweeting out from a personal account going on an unhinged rant like this. And that is the difference. That shows the core difference. President Biden knows how to put people around him that he trusts to do things for him. President Trump decides to do it all himself. Even during the COVID pandemic, he did not want to listen to Fauci and other advisors. He thought he knew what was best, which led to moments like him talking about injecting bleach. So this comms, this social media comms that we're looking at, is a very glaring example of the differences between Trump and Biden. But to jump into some good news, some might say an Easter miracle, Donald Trump's NASDAQ ticker DJT, his initials, which is linked to Truth Social, is down 17.69% today. It absolutely tanked in pre-market, and right when the market opened, we saw a lot of selling. Not only is this hilarious, but MAGA has been making the argument that he'll use this money, the equity he makes from this stock, to pay off his different legal fees. But now that may not be possible if the stock continues to crash because Truth Social keeps reporting bad earnings. This is only their first quarter. I'm assuming the earnings will just drop and drop and drop along with this stock because not many people use it other than Trump cultists and maybe journalists that are on there to follow the Trump cultists. And Ron Filipkowski makes a great point by saying the reason why the malignant narcissist is up to around 100 posts about himself on Easter Sunday is because it bothers him that his cult might be paying attention to something other than him today. Remember, yesterday on Easter Sunday, which should be a holy day for him, he was sharing articles about how he is a a true miracle sent by God to save America, that he is the chosen one, sent by God and blessed by God. And just a week ago, Donald Trump compared himself to Jesus, who was also persecuted, like Donald Trump was persecuted, while he was in court for paying off a porn star, Stormy Daniels, hush money to not talk about their sexual experiences while his wife was at home with a newborn child. And now we see right-wingers with little to no self-awareness on Twitter asking, I have a question, and I genuinely want to know, why is George W. Bush not campaigning with or for Donald Trump? Is he no longer a Republican? Maybe because Donald Trump is the one that is not a real Republican. I mean, conservatives used to love the Constitution. They used to stand up for our institutions in some way. They used to respect law and order. Donald Trump embodies none of these things. George W. Bush knows how toxic this man is. I wouldn't be surprised if all of the living former presidents go to vote for Joe Biden, even if George W. Bush doesn't say it out loud. I'm sure he respects democracy enough to not cede ground to MAGA lunatics, because as we know, Donald Trump has the entire Republican Party wrapped around his finger, and that will be the downfall of them. It's ironic that people didn't want Hillary Clinton to get into office in 2015, 2016, because they wanted to end the Clinton family dynasty. They thought that the Clintons were pulling all the strings behind the scenes, but now Donald Trump has created his own dynasty. I mean, his daughter-in-law is the head of the RNC, and as we know, she plans on diverting funds meant for down-ballot races towards Trump's campaign, towards Trump's legal fees. The entire Republican Party is on the verge of collapsing, and George W. Bush knows that. I'm sure he sees that, and he doesn't want to contribute to that by endorsing Donald Trump. I actually hope he comes out and endorses Joe Biden in some way, or at least mentions January 6th. Here's a clip of Donald Trump on Easter Sunday yesterday trying to say the Lord's Prayer without a teleprompter. And for someone who is such a lifelong devout Christian, he really seems to be struggling to find the words.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
The only part he got right was the amen at the end, and that is like the bare minimum. Even non-Christian, non-religious people know to say amen at the end of a prayer, which just goes to show it's very indicative of Donald Trump's lack of religion. But he has to keep pandering to this evangelical fan base because he needs those votes. My name is Adam Mockler with the Gen Z Blueprint. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.